Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi my loves, it's Destin.Troyce and you're watching Troyce TV. This is going to be a different video because I wanted to get on here and talk about a lot of my popular opinions that I no longer agree with. Let me just say that I've gone on here and I've said some dumb ass and now I wanted to get on here and look back and realize that I don't agree with a lot of my popular opinions that I once stated. I'm very big on everybody's entitled to their own opinion but not entitled to their own fact. But there are instances where people do grow, people do evolve, and sometimes when you get new information and you see things from a broader perspective, your opinions can change. A couple years ago, I said, do not give money to any homeless people. Just give them food, water, and that's about it. But what people don't realize is sometimes everybody's situation is different. Now, what I really should have said was don't give money to panhandlers. If you're walking around with like a, hey guys, I can't take a shit, I need surgery to fix my ass, can I get some money, please, God bless you, I'm not giving you shit. And that's nothing personal, it's just I don't want to give you shit only because in my head I see it as if you got 2 arms and 2 legs that ain't broke, get your big ass up and go get a fucking job. And people will oftentimes be like, well, they have mental health issues. Overall, I kind of said homeless people in general, but I should have said panhandlers. Panhandlers are irritating as hell.
In cities, you often see people like this guy. Desperate-looking people, often holding signs like this one. It's natural to want to help people like this man, or this woman begging by a road in Salt Lake City. Her sign says she's stranded, in need of help, trying to get home. When drivers stop, she tells them,
I'm from Seattle. I came down here to live with my boyfriend, and he ended up kicking me out a week before Christmas.
You got nothing then?
No, just my backpack.
She tells this reporter from KUTV she's 1,000 miles from home.
It's hard to eat. It's hard to have a place to stay.
But then the cameraman quietly followed her and found she actually lives just 2 blocks away in this house. In the morning, she'd go shopping with a nice coat and purse, and then in the afternoon, she changed clothes and walked 2 blocks to the highway off-ramp and took out her sign. People gave her money.
About $3, $5.
Doing the math shows she made more than $50 an hour.
I just felt sorry for her. A girl out there like that.
I gave her a couple dollars.
She lives in a house. What do you think about that?
That is crazy.
Because oftentimes when you do give them money or you do give them something that's not money, they don't always value and appreciate it. People don't value and appreciate things that they don't oftentimes earn.
I shouldn't have said that because, first of all, I've been homeless, right? I had a single mother raise me and my siblings, and she struggled a lot because my dad was in and out, wanted to party, wanted to gamble, wanted to drink, and live his life on the edge. Now, there's people who are homeless living in their cars, living in their RV because things are tough. So that's insensitive for me to say don't give money to the homeless. What I should have said, don't give money to panhandlers. Because there's people that are homeless, sleeping in their cars, who are actively working on getting their life together, working on building their credit, working on saving money, working on elevating themselves. And in this economy, that's insensitive to say even years later, panhandlers don't get shit. But people who have jobs, people who are working, people who are making an effort, they deserve help. I'm not going to trick out on them, but I'll for sure give them $20, $50, or $100 to go eat before I ever help a panhandler who's saying spare change.
My next popular opinion that I said that I don't agree with anymore is TK doesn't deserve life in prison. TK is one of the biggest rappers of 2017. And essentially, TK basically blew up for his song, The Race. TK, to make a long story short, blew up because he basically was on house arrest for being investigated for a murder. And then he broke the ankle monitor, went on the run, and he basically told the police, oh, this is a race. Y'all want to get me? Come catch me.
Convicted Texas rapper back in court. Trial begins today for Taylor McIntyre, better known as TK, who for allegedly shooting and killing 24-year-old Mark Anthony Saldivar. It happened almost 7 years ago at a Chick-fil-A parking lot on Loop 410. KENS 5's Earl Sotomayor explains what police have gathered in this case.
Taymor McIntyre, once recognized on the Billboard Top 100 as Tay-K, has been in the Bexar County Jail for years after the death of Mark Anthony Saldivar. Police grabbed this video on April 23, 2017, of what they say is McIntyre driving away after Saldivar was shot and killed in the Northside Chick-fil-A parking lot. Police say Saldivar got into an argument with passengers in the car and jumped on it, kicking the windshield. That's when police say McIntyre leaned out to shoot Saldivar in the chest and shoulder. McIntyre was already on the run when this occurred. In June 2016, McIntyre and 6 others invaded a home in the DFW area, resulting in the death of 21-year-old Ethan Walker. After both cases, McIntyre released his hit, The Race in New Jersey, on the run from police, posing beside his wanted fugitive poster. McIntyre was then arrested and convicted for murder and 2 counts of aggravated robbery. He was sentenced to serve 55 years in prison.
So Tay-K was a little demon. He was a 16-year-old boy that wanted to run the streets, throw up gang signs, and he blew up as a very successful rapper. He made that song, The Race. We all know that song.
Papa nigga, then I go out my way.
On top of making that song, he only made that song because he was on the run for basically a home invasion. If y'all didn't know, he is involved with the offing and the taking the life of a young man by the name of Ethan Walker. Ethan Walker was a young man and a neighborhood dealer, allegedly. And to make a long story short, he basically got a group of girls to seduce him. And then when the girls seduced him, made him feel good, one of the girls let Tay-K and his friends into the home, and they completely ransacked the whole apartment. As Ethan, the young man in the picture, as you can see, tried to fight back and storm off, one of Tay-K's friends ended up blasting on him because he tried to fight. And of course, that young man ended up losing his life. So Tay-K did not pull the trigger. His friend did. However, as Tay-K ended up getting investigated because, somebody snitched and people talk in Texas, then what happened was Tay-K ended up getting arrested. They put him on house arrest, and they weren't trying to let him leave or go anywhere as a rapper if he was allegedly involved in offing somebody. So what Tay-K did to make himself untouchable, he said, F house arrest, I'm tired of feeling like I'm locked down. And he posted this tweet making it very clear, y'all can't control me, y'all can't hold me down, peace. And he completely fled the state of Texas and ran off to New Jersey. And he was on the run for months. On top of him being on the run for months, Tay-K even went as far as basically taking a picture of his wanted poster. He posed in front of it, he posted these photos, and then he did a whole music video basically saying, this is a race. The cops want to catch me, we're going to have a race, and I'm going to run off and y'all not going to find me. And to this day, the song has over 400 million streams. He also said, if a dude try me, I'm going to run up in his place, all types of stuff. Bragging about the fact that he off somebody and that the police aren't going to do anything, like on some that y'all not going to do nothing. How dumb do you have to be, even if you're only 16, to think that you're a famous rapper and the feds aren't going to catch you? Once they found him, they took him in for the home invasion. And on top of that, guess what this young man did? While he was on the run, he also offed somebody. See, that's the thing. When you literally are someone that's on the run and you're on that demon time and you're already doing bad things, you think that all your bad stuff's going to catch up to you, so you're on demon time. You're like, I don't care. I'm going to go to jail anyway, so I'm going to do what I want. Because Tay-K was already on the run and he knew that one day he might get caught up, he ended up robbing a local photographer. He was basically trying to take a photo with a photographer in his neighborhood, and he basically needed money. And instead of actually taking a photo with the photographer, he ended up making it seem like he was going to drop the photographer off at the mall, at home, or wherever. Long story short, as he was in the car, his girlfriend was driving the car, and his homies were in the car. The photographer thought that he was going to get a nice ride from Tay-K, the famous rapper. Instead, Tay-K pulled out a strap and said, give me your bags right now. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. And then the young man who has been identified as Mark Saldivar, while Tay-K is on the run, mind you, then said, no, I'm not giving you nothing. They pistol whipped him, beat him up, punched him, smacked him, all that stuff, and threw him out the car. They then got his bag with his cameras and his expensive camera gear. Then Tay-K went as far as to try to drive off and leave this young man at the scene. Then Mark Saldivar jumped on the car because he was not going to let them leave with his stuff. He jumped on the car, jumped on the windshield, said, "I don't care, give me back my stuff, give me back my stuff." And TK said, you know what? He pulled out a strap and he blasted him because he was pulling in too much attention. And mind you, this happened in the parking lot of a Chick-fil-A. TK's girlfriend was driving the car and she didn't intend on anyone to get hurt. She basically was like, oh my God, what's going on? And now his girlfriend from that time is being forced to testify. She was 18 at the time and TK was 16. Now she's about, what, maybe 27 years old and TK is about 25 years old. Yeah, time has gone by and she's being forced to testify or else she would be put away for a very long time.
And she said at one point, Belle congratulated McIntyre for the murder.
Jalen applauded him and gave him a high five, and they high-fived each other. And Jalen said he caught your first body.
Reyes says she was in fear to reach out to police after the shooting because she says McIntyre threatened to kill her and her family. As for the backpack with Saldivar's thing, she said that Belle and McIntyre took off with it. Reyes was offered a plea deal in exchange for her testimony for 10 years probation on the lesser charge of tampering with evidence, which the defense says is a big reason why she said what she said.
I said that he didn't deserve 55 years in prison because for the first situation with the neighborhood dealer, he didn't pull the trigger. His friend did. He did, set it up and told these pretty girls in his neighborhood, yo, seduce that guy, get into his home and then let us in. He did what, and he was involved with that. And those girls, of course, got lesser sentences than he did. But my main issue was, damn, 55 years and he ain't pulled the trigger? I get it. He deserves to be in jail for a long ass time, but give him 20 years, give him 30 years.
Tamor McIntyre ever so slightly rolled his head to the side as a judge announced his 55-year prison sentence for the murder of Ethan Walker. The decision came 2 years after TK rapped in his song The Race that there was a case he couldn't beat.
I think it was part of a career move that went wrong.
The song was certified platinum for the 19-year-old, but prosecutors argued it was also an example of the teen's character. They urged the jury to consider it when deciding on a sentence for the 2016 home invasion and robbery where Walker was killed. And afterward, Walker's parents said every lyric had their son's blood on it.
Every time we look up, it seems like we're seeing news about the song, seeing praise about the song, and seeing you literally dancing on Ethan's grave. But you've gotten enough attention.
McIntyre's defense team, which helped him avoid a life sentence, argued that though the song was offensive, it was art. They were pushing for nothing longer than a 20-year deal other teens received in the case, but the jury saw it differently.
You're still here. You're still here. My son is gone. He's a box of ashes sitting in my living room. He's gone.
55 years? He won't get out until he's like 65 or some shit like that. That's when I was like, I don't know. And what's so crazy is, again, TK was 16 when that happened. Again, I get it. Home invasion, wrong. I get it. His friend pulled the trigger. But in my head, I thought, damn, he was 16. Your brain isn't fully developed. But then again, I think at that age, of course, yeah, we all know stuff like that is not right. It's not right to invade somebody's home. But then to try to rob a photographer, come on now, really? He blasted on a photographer that he tried to allegedly book, and then you had your girlfriend be the getaway driver?
Do you have anything else with him?
His camera.
Okay.
Objection leading.
Overruled.
Do you know what kind of camera it was?
It was a white Canon, so they all started hitting him, and Tamor was hitting him with the gun, and the whole time I didn't look back, but when I did, I saw his face, and I started telling them to let him go, and I just kept screaming, let him go. Overruled. And Jalen opened the door and started pushing him out. So he went around the car and he jumped on the hood. And the light turned green.
Okay. I'm gonna stop you right there, okay?
So I started driving. I didn't know where to go. So I turned into the first place that I saw, which was the Chick-fil-A. Once I turned into the Chick-fil-A, He kept yelling at me to get him off the car. I didn't know how to.
Observe Tamor McIntyre do from the front passenger seat.
He shot him.
How did Tamor, did he exit the vehicle or did he roll the window down? How did he shoot?
Yeah, he opened the door and leaned out on one leg.
Now, do you see the person that shot Mark Anthony Saldivar in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Would you please point to him and identify him by an article of clothing he's wearing?
Wearing a white shirt.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that this witness has identified the defendant, Tamor McIntyre.
And then you had the nerve to do this while you're on the run. He was on the run and still blasted on somebody. He was 16 at the time. And as of now, this case is still being unfolded, and basically they're going to come to a conclusion this week about what happens to TK for this second case, even though he literally got his sentencing like 3 years ago for the home invasion. So this is a second case where new information is coming out, and now his girlfriend, well, ex-girlfriend, is just now testifying. So now that more information has come out, I'm like, oh my God, like, that's pretty insane. The fact that the getaway driver was your girlfriend and she's just now testifying to say that you did it and you blasted an innocent photographer because he wouldn't give you the camera.
And the reason why I said that in my popular opinions video was he basically went on a Twitter rant while he was in jail, and he basically said, I bet if I was a little white boy, I wouldn't be getting all this time and 55 years to life. I never even got a chance to be an adult. If I was a little white boy or a little white girl, then that wouldn't have happened. And then a lot of his fans started bringing up the fact that some school shooters don't even get life in prison and so much more. And the piece of me was like, that's pretty fair. So I thought 55 years to life was a little bit unreasonable.
My argument came from not a place of a fan of a rapper, because I'm not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of his music. It was more so of a place of, damn, like, he never even got to be an adult. This happened at 16 and he didn't pull the trigger. But then when I hear about this second case that he did when he was 17, that they're just finally about to wrap up the case, I'm like, oh my God, you were 16, 17 on the run, and then you did somebody dirty again, and then you got a hit song. Yeah, that's not my place because I'm not the family of the victim, but I can imagine someone offing someone I'm related to or care about, and then they have a hit song talking about how they're on the run and no one's going to catch them. Yeah, so that's not my place. But it's just like, damn, he never got to see what it was like to be an adult. But damn, he has poor characteristics. But then again, I just feel like the judicial system oftentimes ages black and brown people a lot more. If a young boy shot up a whole school, he's not going to get 55 years to life. But TK gets 55 years to life. You know what I mean? Because he's unstable and he's just completely reckless, and that's his character. But when it comes to school shooters, it's, oh, well, they have mental health issues. You see what I mean?
And even though he was a child when he did some of this stuff, I wouldn't want anybody anywhere near someone like that. My next unpopular opinion that I gotta be honest for a second was probably very ignorant that I said a couple months ago was, I don't give a fuck if TikTok goes away, good riddance. That was very insensitive of me because TikTok has helped me a lot. If it wasn't for TikTok, I wouldn't find a lot of videos and receipts that a lot of y'all see in these videos. If it wasn't for me being on TikTok, I wouldn't have gone to networking events that I've gone to and met some people that I've met. TikTok, even though it has turned into a big-ass QVC, big-ass commercial nowadays where now you're always being encouraged to buy some shit, TikTok really does not deserve to go away. And I really would feel a way if they did get rid of TikTok. It's cluttered with a lot of BS with people who claim they have receipts and they're going viral for having receipts and claiming that they know stuff, or making fake little rage bait content that isn't even real just to generate clickbait.
Not to mention, TikTok has given a platform to people who just honestly profit off of rage and donations. And I just think to myself, how the hell are these people able to just get on here, beg for donations, and make a fool of themselves because they think influencers have it so easy?
I'm not going to sit here if people aren't going to send gifts and people aren't going to be kind. I'm not going to sit here and entertain assholes. I'll tell you that right now. What's wrong? Until I reach a goal, I'm not talking. I'm getting trolls coming in here, people treating me like crap. I'm a human being. I'm tired of it. So until I reach my goal of paper cranes, I'm not talking. So people can stare at my ass. I don't care.
How dare you, bitch? But then again, we can say the same about YouTubers, so it's still insensitive for me to even say that.
I take that back, and I should not have said that I don't give a fuck if TikTok goes away. Kanye is not crazy. I've said in multiple videos that Kanye is just crazy. He's not crazy. He knows what he's doing because Kanye is just trying to prove that he's unstoppable. Ice Spice does not have longevity at all. I know what I said a year ago where I basically said Ice Spice is hot shit and she's not going anywhere for a long time. I even went as far as to say that Glorilla is not going to be around that long because I don't see her having a long-term career. This was like a year and a half ago. Glorilla is one of the biggest female artists in the game right now. Super successful. And we hear a lot of her songs everywhere. On TikTok, in memes. Glorilla is hot shit. And Ice Spice is nowhere to be found. Now granted, I did say this before the leaked messages came out of her talking about Nicki Minaj being jealous of her. And of her saying that Doechii loves to pull the colorism card. When those messages leaked out of her friends exposing her for, minimizing colorism on Doechii's end, that's when I said to myself, oh hell nah, she's not going to be around for that long because she's insanely oblivious and she's not as smart as I thought she was. I kept thinking she was a fucking genius because she kept talking about how manifestation is the key, when in reality, it's not manifestation. It's literally connections. It's pretty privilege mixed with the fact that she was connected and smashing her producer, who's well connected. Ice Spice was just a phase and a moment in music where the world was a little bit silent during the pandemic because we were just transitioning into the world opening back up. Tamara Mori is not as bad or as coony or as egocentric as he would try to portray her to be.
As we all know, Tamara Mori is married to a white man, and sometimes she says some things that rub a lot of her black fans the wrong way. They went out of her way to literally comment on the Remy Ma's black love photo with her husband, and she basically said, oh, y'all are so adorable, but I love me some interracial love too. When it's like, who the fuck even asked you, you know?
People always used to make jokes, including me, about Tamara Mori, who we all know from Sister Sister. Tia and Tamara have been well respected and loved in most households, but more specifically the black households, because they are great representation. However, as they both blossomed into adulthood and went their separate ways, a lot of us started comparing them, and a lot of us started looking at Tia as the black sister because she always dates black men. However, Tamara settled for an older white man who has a lot of conservative values, and people weren't really fond of Tamara Mori because of her husband. And he has made a lot of interesting comments about Colin Kaepernick and made comments about a lot of people not wanting to support 4th of July.
Then went on to say, oh, well, it's all of our holidays. We should all be celebrating it and have some respect for the country and so much more. Overall, you are who your partner is. You are especially who your husband is, if anything. And people look at Tamara Mori like, sweetheart, why are you with this person? Ain't you about the cause? But people got to realize, y'all don't know Tamara Mori at all. At all. Yeah, she played black characters and biracial characters, but she don't know none of us. You don't know what her political beliefs and her social beliefs are. Tia sits in her blackness at all costs.
As a mixed race woman, you sound like you identify more in one way or the other. Is that true or no?
Yeah, I identify myself as a black woman.
Yeah.
My mother is black. You know what I mean?
I like how you say it, black.
Oh yeah, I mean, because I feel
black.
like my mother is a strong
That's
woman.
right. That's right.
I have seen and have felt, and my mother is dark skinned. I have seen and felt her struggles as being a black woman. And so to me, of course my dad is white, but I am an extension of my mother.
That's right.
So yes, I am mixed race, but it's how I identify myself. And I identify myself as a black woman. That is how I've been viewed, how I've been seen. And I remember studying in school the single drop of, black blood.
Right.
You black.
You black. Right. That's how we were raised. That's how we were raised.
And then when it comes to Tamara, well, Tamara is Tamara.
Every woman, I think, has a little bit of crazy.
What's your crazy?
Well, I think my crazy can be, I'm usually like even keel. I'm kind of like quiet. But when I'm upset, I'm upset. Like, I get ghetto. People don't know that.
Baby, you got to demonstrate for us. What you mean by ghetto, honey?
Okay, when I get upset at Adam sometimes, I roll my neck, I roll my eyes, and I put the finger out. What did you do? No. And Adam's like, what are you doing? Why are you rolling your neck right now? So that's.
But then I realized how offensive and disrespectful and rude that is to biracial people, because it's crazy how a lot of us are obsessed with claiming biracial people as black, even though they aren't, if they're not physically black passing, until they say something that doesn't really align with our beliefs when you're a black person. It's a little bit fucked up that I even sat up there and was like, yeah, F her, she just ain't shit. It's a sense of difference to sit up here and say that her white side took over. That's rude as fuck and not okay. And I shouldn't have sipped the Kool-Aid and been a part of that, and that was rude. Meg Thee Stallion may probably be a liar, but I don't blame her for lying about sleeping with Tory Lanez. So when the Tory Lanez case started to wrap up, a piece of me was just like, oh yeah, she a fucking liar because she lied about messing around with Tory Lanez when Gayle King sat her down and asked her, have you ever been with Tory Lanez? Now, granted, she should have sat her ass there and did an interview if she wasn't going to be honest. But looking back, I get why she lied about smashing Tory Lanez.
Yes, bitch, I lied to Gayle King. First of all, I didn't know that bitch was even gonna ask me about that shit. But she's always want to talk about this shooting. Why'd you ask me about fucking Tory? That's not what this is about. Even if I was, I fucked this nigga like once, maybe twice on a drunk night. Bitch, you kept catching me out of my fucking mind.
Wow. Did you have an intimate relationship with him?
Like sexual?
Yeah. Did you, Megan, did you have a sexual relationship with Tory Lanez? Yes, that's my question.
I didn't have a sexual relationship with Tory.
So why do you think he's putting out the story that the two of you had a relationship and that you're making the whole thing up?
I think that he is trying to deflect from the fact that he committed a crime.
Would y'all want to admit to smashing Tory Lanez? I wouldn't want to. The whole case, the whole situation is iffy to me. I understand why she did it. Because let's be real, would you want to admit to all the dudes you let touch you? Even though she probably is a liar, I will give her a little bit more grace than I did when that interview first came out. But that's that for this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, that's that. Choice out this bitch.
Baby, 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 baby. I love it when I hear your name. Same saying. Baby, 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 baby. Ah! Baby, 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 baby. Listen, I see my worth. Been here on God's green earth. You don't know what you done to me. I never thought I need you desperately. I was kinda sick how I'm stuck on you. And I don't know cause I needin' you. And for the hope to say, baby, yes, her. Oh, her. Baby, 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 baby. I love you, baby, 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 baby. I love you.